Manga and anime, a media I'm sure most of us enjoy consuming, and a media that has gained huge popularity in the West over the last 20 years with titles like Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach and One Piece, or even now with new gen shows like My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Attack on Titan and so on. While these might be your first anime or manga you have watched or read, the media itself is a lot older than 20 years. More precisely, the modern form of manga became popular after the Second World War. So yes, this meme actually is historically correct. No, but randomly I asked myself, how old is manga actually? And then I searched on YouTube and it seemed like no one actually made a video about this. Almost no one. So I decided to dig deep into some historical stuff about what actually was the first manga ever created. I will be focusing mainly on the first manga and not the first anime in this video, but if you want a video on that, I can do it. Let me know in the comments and by liking this video, and if you already did all that, hey, why not subscribe as well to not miss the video I just talked about. Anyways, let's start answering why this exists. So what even is a manga? Is it drawings on a piece of paper, or is it the friends we made along the way? No, okay, I'm kidding, but in all seriousness, it's kinda hard searching for the first manga, and to be honest, there are different types of first mangas. So the first manga post-wartime, which kind of started the manga boom. We have the first modern manga, which resembles the media we know and love today, and which originated in the 18th century, and the complete old school stuff from the 12th century, which is like literally only 4 drawings on a scroll, but you could pass it as a manga, I guess. Ah yes, the OGs remember those, right? If you were there when those were published, you had the best childhood. Let's start talking about probably the first manga we know about. Since this is almost 1000 years ago, the data on this is very vague and there are different opinions on which one actually is the first one, and in the end there might have been hundreds of manga made even before the 12th century which just didn't survive until today. We might never know. What we do know, however, is that Shoujo Jinbutsu Giga, forgive me for all my pronunciations in this video, is one of the oldest things that resembles a manga that we could identify. It's a set of 4 picture scrolls belonging to the Kozan-ji temple in Kyoto. Yes, the first ever manga created consisted of only 4 pictures, so it's a bit shorter than modern manga. That actually makes so much sense, but for whatever reason I thought it would be like an entire story with several chapters from the get-go. That's why you could also not count this as a manga and choose the first modern manga as your first manga. The mangaka is said to be Toba Sojo, although it is heavily believed it was the work of not only one person. Here are pictures drawn onto it. It doesn't have any words in it and actually is like gigantic. The scrolls themselves were like 10 meters long, or about 35 feet for my American viewers. They depicted animals like frogs, rabbits and monkeys. Imagine someone just randomly thinking, I really want to draw a frog onto a 10-meter long scroll. What a blow that Soja fella was. However, there are also speculations that actually Shigisan Engi Emaki is the first manga. It is an illuminated manuscript detailing miracles attributed to the monk Myoren, who lived on Mount Shigi near Nara in Japan in the 9th century. Jesus Christ, that was a hard sentence to pronounce. However, I do not know if that actually was a real person. The first scroll narrates the anecdote known as the Flying Granary. The second scroll relates to the miraculous healing of the reigning emperor Daigo by the prayers of Myoren. And I've pronounced him in 2 different ways. Let's go. Maybe we are going for a third way. And lastly, the third scroll recounts the adventures of a nun, Myoren's older sister, in search of her brother, whom she has not seen for 20 years. Or well, that's what the internet said, because how the heck am I supposed to read all that out of these pictures? Sadly, I couldn't find any more information, but like I said, this is like 1000 years old, so moving on. Now, after exploring the first ever created manga, you may say, sure, these might be the roots for the media, but these aren't manga in the modern sense, which leads me to talk about the first manga resembling the art that it is today, which originated in the 18th century. The word manga itself was formed in the 18th century. The term is Japanese and can be roughly translated to comic. The man who gave it the name was Hokusai, who actually also is the creator of the iconic drawing called The Great Wave. So the work Shiji no Yukikai from 1798 was actually one of the first books to be called manga. Now, I wish that I could tell you more about this manga, but there isn't really much information about it on the internet, which is weird because I found more information about manga from the 12th century than manga from the 18th century. Now, after Shiji no Yukikai, mangas such as Hyakyujo from Aikawa Minwa and the Hokusai manga books from the mangaka Hokusai, which we talked about, the guy who named mangas, were published and well known. But as I said, those weren't the first modern mangas, as they came after Shiji no Yukikai. Before we dive into the first post-war mangas, which laid the foundations for manga as we know it today, I would like to take a short detour and talk about Echinbun Nipponchi, which is, from what I could tell, the first manga magazine. So, like the great-great-grandfather of the Shonen Jump, you could say. It was published in 1874 by Kanagaki Robun and Kawanabe Kyosai. It was likely influenced by the pioneering Japanese magazine The Japan Punch, which was published between 1862 and spring 1887 by Charles Wingman. So hey, I guess an American or Englishman, I'm unsure of his heritage, helped publishing the first manga magazine. Echinbun Nipponchi did not have initial success though and was discontinued after only 3 issues. This was followed by Kisho Shimbun in 1875, Marumaru Shimbun in 1877 and Garakuta Shimpo in 1879. So that's that. I do realize that the first post-World War manga wasn't the first manga ever created, but I felt like mentioning it as it is kinda up to you which one you consider the first manga ever created. As I said, the manga industry only started forming after the Second World War, and one of the biggest names that helped manga pick up some steam was Sazae-san, which unlike all the previous titles you could have possibly heard about, and even that actually started in 1946, which is still incredibly old. It was drawn by Machiko Hasegawa, and the title itself fascinates me, to be honest, because it was made by a woman and it depicted a strong woman. I'm not saying anything against strong women, but for the 40s, that's like really progressive thinking and drawing, in my opinion, and for it to be popular surprised me even more. The other title popular after World War II was, of course, Astro Boy, which is considered the first anime by many too, but I actually think that's a false belief. As I said, let me know in the comments if I should make an anime version of this video. Astro Boy was drawn by Osamu Tezuka, and it's about a naive, super-powered robot, and even to this day, it's still very popular. Now, after that, manga became immensely popular, and titles such as Dragon Ball, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and so on followed. The biggest manga magazine was formed in 1968, of course being the Weekly Shonen Jump by Shueisha, and nowadays One Piece even sold more copies than Batman. This was a very interesting and fun video to make, and I believe it's better to keep the ending short, as I don't know how long the video will be anyways. In the end, you can't really see when manga originated. I even found some sources stating that it originated in the 8th century, albeit not really reliable sources. Talking about sources, of course all of them are linked in the description. Also, I am so sorry for every word I mispronounced, as I'm sure there were like a couple of them. I hope you enjoyed the video though. I would appreciate a like, and hey, maybe subscribe so you don't miss out on my videos, and yeah, bye!